Welcome everybody. I got Jason with me here. He just closed his third deal. Was that a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Um, for those who don't know you, Jason, tell them a little bit about your background, where you come from, and how did you get into this program?
Okay. So I used to be a blue collar worker. So I was an industrial welder. Um, that was last June. And then I burnt the ships starting an SEO agency. I found Nick's YouTube channel, I think in November, November or October. And basically what happened is everything made so much sense that I ended up joining this program here, The Art of Pre-Selling. And it was just a really smooth transition. It was just like everything made so much sense because I have kind of been educated a little bit about the industry of just SEO in general and rank and rent.
Mm.
And so joined Nick's program and it's basically history since then.
Are you technical? I mean, a welder, obviously, you have to have some kind of technical background, but are you like were you always computer savvy, technical, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I was an industrial welder. I managed 20 guys. I was covered in black dust every single day. And then I went straight into basically this digital world because I was looking for a way out of the 9 to 5. You know, the world's changing, and I think we're all capable of developing a lifestyle outside of the 9 to 5. We just
Mhm.
have to put in the work in action.
Yeah. I like that because there's a lot I hear this often where people are like, well, I don't have a technical background. Like I don't even know how to do, SEO or web design or any of that stuff. And the answer is, first of all, even if you don't have a background that's completely different, like I come from teaching, you come from welding, you can still make it in here. And yeah, I think you're a testament to you don't have to be technical at all. You just have to follow the process. I love that, man. And so you jumped on
Wondered.
full time. When did you jump on full time into this?
So I started doing this full time in December.
So
Um,
you're not a welder anymore after December.
Yeah, so I didn't even know what SEO even meant back last July or August. I didn't even know what the heck SEO was. So I went down the rabbit hole of SEO, purchased a program for SEO, and I actually joined Nick's program in December. So things didn't really start kicking off until about January.
Mm, gotcha. It is still fast though. You still picked up pretty fast. I've been doing this since 2016.
Oh, nice,
So
man.
that's awesome, man.
It's a long time.
I don't think I had my first lead gen deal. I did all kinds of stuff like web design, SEO, that stuff initially because I couldn't sell. I just couldn't sell to save my life. So I didn't get into actual lead gen until like 2.5 years into it. So you are
Cool.
way ahead of the curve here. The fact that you started in November, December, and you already closed 3 deals, that's pretty awesome. Tell me about the first deal that you closed.
Okay, so the first deal, it was just like anything else. You you go through Nick's process, and the thing is like Nick was talking about in the last interview with, forgot his name, the guy up in Boise. That was really fun to listen to. But anyways, Nick's talking about how you just pay the piper or you can figure it out over time. And so if you just pay the people who have developed the process, who have proven results, and Nick's his agency is pulling in over $100,000 a month. So why not pay that guy to teach me step by step how to actually save the time and the money? And so that's what I did. I actually had a few business owners ghost me throughout December to January, but I found that one business owner who was just super eager to grow. And long story short, I was on the closing call with him and I pitched him at $1,500 a month. And he was so intrigued by me actually giving him free leads that he said, just out of the blue, I'll pay you $2,000 a month. And I just kind of sat back. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to argue against that. He was so happy to move forward that he actually boosted the price $500 a month on his own.
I'll be honest, I've never seen that before. I've seen people say to my price, like I say, yeah, $2,000 a month. They'd be like, "Oh, that's it? Yeah, that's doable. Yeah, no problem." I've never had anyone say, "Yeah, let's make it 3,000." That's pretty cool. You know, you must have done a
So
really good job with transferring the trust. They have
for
to
sure, yeah.
really trust you for them to just like, yeah, I mean, you've given us all this business for free. Let's go all out.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool to see. I was stoked for my first deal. And so basically when I was doing the cold call with him, he was talking about how this girl was going to charge him $800 a year to do all the social media posting. And I was like, hey, dude, if somebody's charging you that low, then I guarantee you're not going to be getting jobs. I was like, you're just throwing money in the garbage.
Yep.
I was like, let me get you a few jobs for free. All I ask in return is that we have that conversation about doing business together if you like the jobs that I'm getting you. And he's like, okay, man, I'll give you a shot. Let's do it. Once I started providing the leads and they were legit, I earned his trust immediately.
Yeah, yeah, they're on board usually. They're like, well, this guy, I didn't even give this guy anything, and he's already putting money in my pocket, and it just hits them like they don't expect that. It's like reversing the script on them. Usually they're just getting people calling them, I'll do this for you, I'll rank you, or you pay me this much, I'll do this much for you. They never see anyone just go, hey, here's some free business, here's some money in your pocket. You let me know if this works out or not, and if we do business, cool. If we don't, whatever. Like
Yeah,
you just throw it
exactly.
like that, like you're not desperate. I love it, man. Well, my first deal was not as fat. Yeah, I think I remember my first deal in lead gen was like 750 or something, and I was so excited. I didn't make any of that 750. I just gave it to Google. Um, but yeah, I remember being so ecstatic to get that first deal. So the fact that you're like 2000 already, that's really good for your confidence. Because pricing in our head as a new business owner with a young business is not pricing in the mind of someone who's a veteran who's been in business for decades. I had a major imposter syndrome. I couldn't tell people you're gonna pay me $1,000 a month. I was like, let's just do 700. So you have that reservation with the price, and I like that you from off the bat first first quarter you're already pitching 2,000. Hopefully you pitch 25, $3,000. Yeah, I mean that's great. I had to break from that pricing, whatever you want to call it. Like you're stuck in this thing, like, oh, I don't think they can afford this. Yes, they can. Just price it well, price it based on the value you're offering. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. And yeah, they'll take it. I love it, man. Tell me about your second deal. Did that come right after?
So the second deal was pretty short after. So this was actually because I'm running my SEO agency on the side, I'm actually trying to transfer everything and all of my time, like Nick is telling us, put all of your time in the lead generation because that's where the real money's at. That's where you control the assets. So what I did with this guy, he was sold on the SEO, but his objection was, how long is this going to take? I was like, okay, your areas fits everything that Nick talks about with finding the right area to target. So I was like, hey, dude, let me get you a few jobs. And so what I did is I went through the same process, pitched him on the lead generation. And he's like, so you told me I can get work this week? I'm like, yeah, dude, I could get you some jobs. Let me set up the ads and I'll send over the first lead that I get you. So exact same process. Um, Sent over the first lead and he was sold. He had that trust. He already sold on the SEO, but he didn't want to wait 3 to 6 months to get those
Mm,
results. He wanted
right.
results immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, so went forward and closed that guy on 1,400 a month. And yeah, we have a really good relationship today. You know, these guys are awesome because you develop these friendships. If both sides are honest, then it creates these breakthroughs where you develop these friendships and they start getting you referrals and it's a chain reaction. So
Yeah, absolutely. And how was your level of confidence between deal one and deal two? Did you notice anything?
There was a pretty big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to lose the deal
Hmm.
with the second guy. I was like, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, at first you're like so desperate, and as soon as you get that first, you're like, yes. And the second deal, that's why I asked. The second deal comes usually pretty fast after the first deal. That's why I asked, like, was there a difference? And you're like, yeah, there was a difference in confidence, and also it came shortly after. It happened to me so many times when I go through my ebbs and flows. I would get a deal and I'll be so fired up, and I would get another deal the next week, and then I would get comfortable. And as soon as I get comfortable 1 week, I just don't make enough cold calls. That's when everything just starts to go down. But yeah, confidence and momentum. Momentum even more important than confidence, because you gotta keep, like, even if you're still fired up and you're like, yeah, money in the bank, I'm getting paid. You gotta go and start working on the next one. It's gonna suck again. The cold calling, no, 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 and going through that
Exactly.
again. Yeah, you're celebrating, but you already gotta come back to to the court to shoot to practice hoops again. Yeah, I love it. Uh, Third deal, this last one, 3 weeks ago. How was that any different from the first two deals?
Okay, so this one's a little bit interesting. So this guy, he we agreed to a commission, which I would never recommend doing commission. I actually spent quite a bit, got him some leads, but he wasn't very happy. He's like, "Oh, I could pay you $150." And so I basically just cut ties. I was like, "No, I'm not doing this." Anyway, he hits me up a few weeks later and he's like, "Hey, dude, what happened to us like doing business together?" And I was like, "To be honest, man, there's not any skin in the game for either of us if we're doing commission. So what I can do is I can do flat fee that will protect both of us. And what we can do is we can start off with $800 a month." And he's like, "I totally get that, man. I totally understand. This industry is pretty shady. People aren't honest with each other." So he's like, "Yeah, let's start with 800." But he actually told me, he's like, "If 800 gets me jobs, then I want to take it up to a whole new level." So we started running. The first week was pretty slow, which you can expect some weeks to be pretty slow, and you have to build that expectation. So the second week, I think we got him 3 leads, and he was super happy. He's like, "That was a really good lead, man. We basically closed her, super happy. I want to take it to the next level." So what we're doing is we're actually going to take the $800 and scale it up to about 1,500 to 2,000 here in the near future. Once again, that's all just built off of communication and offering the free value. Because
Mhm.
without the free value, he would have thought I was just one of those other shady marketers.
Absolutely. I think free value is definitely trending here. And actually, I make it a point to ask at the end of each call that I close, what was the thing that got the business owner to talk to me or just stick to me. And every time they say results, like every time they say leads, you sent me leads before we talked. You proved the concept before we talked. You proved to me that you can do it before we talked. And that, like, that's all they say. I've never heard any other reason. I asked probably 12 or 14 times so far. And yeah, it's always the same answer. So yeah, results in advance, free value, it works. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
we're just human, and we just like free shit, and we like the person who gives us free shit. It's just, yeah, you go to Costco, someone hands you a sample, you grab it, you eat it. You like free shit.
Exactly. No, that was
Um,
good. Hey, maybe we should buy that.
yes. So are you still gonna be dabbling in SEO, or are you just gonna use it to fuel lead generation?
So that's actually really interesting. I actually do have 3 other lead generation clients on the hook. One of them is, I'm pretty sure, a laydown. So we're going to be talking Saturday. I'm focusing specifically on trying to land the lead gen deals. But what I'm doing is I have some VAs who are doing some outreach with the SEO agency. So instead of just pitching them on SEO, My VAs are actually doing the due diligence and finding areas that we know we can rank in and have the traffic, just like how Nick teaches us in the program.
Nice.
So during that SEO pitch, I'm saying, hey, if you don't want to wait 3 to 6 months, so I'm basically making SEO appear as a bad option. So if you don't like what the SEO is providing, then we have this other option, which is called lead generation, and we will even get you some free leads with that. So I'm getting a lot more feedback off of that, but I can only keep my pipeline so full
Yeah.
because there's a lot of capital involved, right?
Right. Absolutely. I like that. I like that option. I kind of do it, but I do it in reverse because I am seeking lead generation, but I'm doing the chamber, I'm doing BNI, I'm doing all kinds of networking stuff. So there's a lot of web design and SEO that falls on my lap. So what I would do is explore the lead generation first. I'll give you an example. I just talked to what was it? HVAC guy, actually a flooring guy. Flooring guy comes to me. I don't do flooring. He wants, vinyl and wood floor and all that stuff in this area. I look it up and it's just cutthroat. Like, like you can't even, like, there's ads as far as the eye can see. Everyone's ranked, cutthroat competition. And I told him, hey, I can't, I can't compete with these guys, and I won't. But I'm willing to explore some long-term options. And he's like what? I'm like, we can work on your reputation management. I have a software that, blows up your reviews. I can just put it on autopilot and get my $300 a month or $250 a month. I have a team that does social, so I can just charge them $800, $900 a month and have my team do all their posting and all that stuff. So I do it, but in reverse. I seek lead generation first. And then if lead generation does not make sense and it's too competitive, I have a team that can automate some of the things, and I can at least make some money, some fast money through social media management, through reputation management, and web design. So that's easy money, and it fuels my lead generation. And it sometimes the ads get too expensive. It kind of pays for the ads, and it keeps the business afloat.
Awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah,
The
and
last
I
thing that
mentioned that because you already have VAs, so you could have them do like, okay, you're going to be like, in case we get a client that's like insurance. Like I get a lot of insurance guys like, hey, I want lead generation. I'm like, I can't help you, buddy. You're in property and casualty. I can do
Yeah,
social media for you. Here, I'll give them to my project manager, put a credit card on file, and rock and roll. So you could leverage your VAs in that capacity without affecting your lead generation game, of course. You don't want them to be
yeah,
bogged down
exactly.
with all that stuff and not focusing on lead generation.
That is so cool. Yeah, I like what you're saying there. But going back to what Nick is telling us, so our long-term goal is to get away from the time-consuming work that's tying us down from living that dream that we have. My dream is to go travel just like what Nick's doing too. And I can't do that when I'm here on the computer 12 hours a day. I have to have a team who's capable of taking that stuff off of my hands.
Mhm.
And the lead generation, it provides that asset to where you're not spending a lot of time generating those leads.
Right.
Because while the website's ranking, while the ads are running, you don't constantly have to be doing technical work.
Right.
As for SEO clients, I just barely got 2 requests this morning for people to get their websites updated. And it's taking me an hour and a half just to add a new feature to their website. And
Yeah.
that's not really what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. That's something that you want to maybe train your VA to do and just get paid for it without having to invest your time in it. Yeah,
Exactly.
have them do it, get paid, focus on lead generation. Yes, that's kind of the game I'm playing right now. But you're right. You're still getting sucked into project management every now and then. Yeah, my project manager, she's pretty independent, but I still have to have those touch points with her, which is my time. So yeah, you got a point there for sure. But it's great. It's great to have a mix of both long-term money and short-term money. They complement each other, because for me, lead generation kind of starts to slow down around October, November. So I have to rely on the fast money to, to keep to keep the you know the payroll and to keep paying for the ads and all that stuff. There's a bit of overhead. But yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah,
I
for
love what
sure.
you're doing, and you're compressing time too. Like you're doing so much in so little time compared with at least what I did. I started really slow and I dabbled a lot. I dabbled for years. I still do actually. But yeah, man, this is an awesome track record so far. So, what are your uh, habits right now? Like, what do you do now that you do not have a job? What is it that you do with your day to maximize it?
Okay, so I'm always making sure that I have at least three clients or three prospects on the hook who are taking my leads. So if I get ghosted, if a guy doesn't respond, I'll use a pullback and say, hey man, sounds like you're too busy. You're not really serious about taking these leads. I got plenty of other guys who could take them. Like, I don't feel like I need these business owners anymore.
Mm,
So I don't have a problem with tossing one out of, my prospecting list because I want somebody who's eager to move forward. I think one of the biggest things with this model is finding somebody who is eager to move forward. They have to want to grow, and finding the right business owner is huge.
hmm
So, you know, some of uh these campaigns that I've had trying to land a business owner have actually been lasting longer than some of these other deals that I've closed because I'm still trying to find the right business owner. But I'm always making sure that somebody is taking my leads. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. There's always someone on the hook that's serious. The minute you sniff out, something not serious, you do the pullback. If it works, they're out. If they do the
Exactly.
pullback and they go back on the hook, then we're rocking and rolling. Sit on the Zoom. Let's get this thing closed. Yes, I think that's what's going to keep you accountable too. When you keep them
Mhm.
accountable, you keep yourself accountable in like inadvertently. So absolutely. And
For sure. Yeah.
that's what's going to keep your momentum. And I feel that too when I don't follow up for a week or I don't check or I go, get distracted by something else. I tend to lose those people, even though I've given them two leads and I go back later, 2 weeks later, I'm like, hey, here's another lead. I don't know. Like they go lukewarm too. They're not piping hot anymore. So you got a point there. You're always having three, two hooks, four hooks every week, something to keep you going, to something to keep you on your toes. So you're not dropping the ball. The control, I realize that the control comes from me. Even though I'm talking to a 60-year-old veteran business owner, the control still comes from me. If I hand them control, they'll just whatever, they'll just play around and not be serious. But if I put the pressure on every day, hey, how was that lead? What happened? Did you close it? Great. Are you still in? You still want to do this? Because I'm in here for the long haul. If you feel like this is a good lead, but you're not really feeling it, I get it, man. I'll get out of your hair. I just need to know so I can go call someone else. You're still in. Cool. Okay. Well, let me go ahead through my list and let me see if I can send you another lead in the next couple days, and then we'll sit down at the end of the week. You want to sit down at the end of the week, maybe Friday morning or Saturday morning? Awesome. All right. Well, send me your email. I'll set something up if I have some time. Cool. And you just keep the pressure on every day or every 2 days. Uh, yeah. The minute I don't do that, everything starts to drop. The minute I let go of the gas and I don't put the pressure and I kind of give them control. So now they're in charge of the leads and they're telling me what's going on. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to give them control because they don't know. We think that they do, but they don't.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
we need to make it seem like this opportunity is rare, that somebody like us is not going to come across their path anytime soon. So they need to take this opportunity to take this. This just barely happened with this other guy that I feel very confident in closing on Saturday. We're going to talk Saturday. He actually closed a commercial contract off of one of my leads. So he
Nice.
reached out and he's like stoked. He talked to me for 20 minutes. He's like, you know, I was telling my wife how this guy just came along and offered me free work. And he's like, it was an answer to my prayers because I was so slow. And now I just closed this 4,000 square foot job And he's like, super stoked. And he's like, let's talk next week. And I was like, hey man, I love everything we're doing here. But my ads do cost me money. So let's speak as soon as we can and just get this thing on the road.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that works for me. Like he wanted to kind of push it out a little bit so that he could keep on getting some free leads. And that's where we come in control. It's like, hey dude, I have the reins here. I'm the one who's sending you this free work.
Mhm.
So let's talk Saturday and let's figure out something that works good for both of us and let's get this thing on the road.
Yes. Being upfront. You're like, hey man, these things cost money. I need to figure out this deal and how I'm gonna make money and how I'm gonna pay Google. And you just lay it right on the table. And that's when you know who's serious and who's not. If they start like, yeah, I mean, we get business. I mean, we've been around for a while. We get business from the handshake, and my dog brings me business, and like, I see where you're going with this. Are you serious? Are you still want to do this? Because these are paid leads. Do you see yourself paying for jobs? Because if you're not, I totally get it. No worries. I just need to know so I can move on. I see that you're already paying for Angie. So I assume, you're not allergic to money. You're willing to pay for leads. Is that still the case? If you change your mind about leads and you don't want to pay for these, you don't think they're valuable, I get it, man. It's not for everybody.
Isn't that so crazy that somebody could get on a closing call with you, currently paying for Angie's leads, and they tell you no, oh, I need to go talk to my wife.
Right.
And Nick teaches us how to overcome those objections.
Mhm.
I've learned the hard lesson on a couple of these closing calls.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind that somebody paying for Angie's leads has the audacity to even be like reject an opportunity where somebody wants to work with you exclusively.
Right.
I mean, okay, go ahead, go share your jobs with
Mhm.
4 other contractors. That's
Yeah.
cool with me.
Absolutely. I told them that too. I said, hey man, exclusive leads are not for everybody. They're expensive. You can go share leads with everyone else and Angie and Thumbtack, and you might get some good stuff. I'm sure you are getting good business, but this is a different game. And if it's not for you, I mean I get it. I like my leads to be exclusive because my work is exclusive. I don't do work like everybody else, and I expect my partners to be like that too, to be in that mindset too. But I like your
Sure.
urgency, creating that urgency, because it gets people out of the way too. And I just had that last week. Um, if I didn't if I didn't mention it, I would have just kept sending this guy leads. He's I don't know, Phoenix or Albuquerque. I don't remember where he was. And I sent him a couple of leads, and he's like, "Yeah, this is great. That's awesome. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna go on a fishing trip this weekend. I'll get back to you, and we'll go from there." He comes back. I don't hear from him, and I just sent the breakup text immediately. And he's just like, "Yeah, that city is kind of out of my range." I'm like, "Well, you should have told me that before I sent you the leads, but whatever." So the sooner and the more aggressive you dig into the objections early, the more you get people out of the way, and the less you get your heart broken. I've compared it before to dating. Um, Someone, playing with your heart, break up with them, even though it's going to hurt. And you've already sent them 3 leads and you spent time with them and you're kind of in love with them. Well, you love them. You're not in love with them. Let them go. There's other hot girls out there, hot prospects that you can date and marry. So yeah, we
Yeah,
get
for sure.
into we romanticize the process, and I'm guilty of that too. I would get into a business owner that's like, oh my God, he's amazing. He's awesome. I want to work with this guy. Well, I'll hold your horses. He might not be the right guy. Don't get too excited about him. I fall in love right away. You're the one. Would you go to prom with me? Here's some more leads. And the guy's not even interested. So yeah, the sooner you put the pressure, and the more you keep yourself a little detached, not too, desperate, the better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
actually
it's
told this guy. I'm
okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, actually, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
The last closing call. Actually, did I close it? Yeah, I did end up closing it, but after the fact, after we got off the live, he came back and signed the paperwork. But I told him he was like, once we got to the last 10 minutes of the call and he got cornered because I basically annihilated all of his objections. He's the quarterback. There's no partners. Yes, he is willing to pay for leads. He does. I was like, do you trust me? Do you see me as someone you would do business with? He said, yeah, absolutely. You sent me free leads. I just have to sleep on it. I don't make these decisions. I'm like, yeah, you've been sleeping on it for a week. I've been sending you leads and you've been thinking about it for a whole week. If after this whole week of leads, money in your pocket, and you're still not convinced, I don't think we should do this. I don't think we're a good match for each other. And he was just like, well, I still want to think about it, man. I'm not like ruling it out or anything. I'm like, I am, because I'm telling you, if I were in your spot and I had 3 leads and I closed one of them and I have 2 more in the pipeline that I still need to work, and I'm still not convinced of this, I wouldn't do it. I don't think you should do it. And he was kind of butthurt, and we got off the Zoom call, and then he called me later. He's like, send the paperwork. Let's do this. And because I hurt his ego. I had to be
Yeah.
a little abrasive. You can't just be like, hey, no worries, man. You tried the leads. Yeah, whenever you want to come back with free leads, yeah, no problem. No, we don't play that game. If you're honest, yes, I'll give you a lead and you can go away. No problem. I've done that before. Be like, hey, man, I don't want to waste your time, and I please don't waste mine either. If you're just dabbling and you just want to try this out, I'll give you a free lead, but just don't drag me on. And I've had people say, honestly, man, I'm not ready. I'll be like, you know what? Thank you for being honest. Here's Mark. He also wants a stucco job. Go help him. Put some money in your pocket. Thank you for your honesty. And I just nurture those relationships for later in case they grow and they want some leads. But yeah, like you said, being upfront and managing expectations from the get-go, smashing objections from the get-go is what's going to make that Zoom call short, sweet, and it's going to make it a close. So you're not going all over the place. Well, hold on a second. I have another question. Oh, hold on a second. I have another objection. And then you just keep piling them on you until 2 hours later, you're all sweaty from wrestling with all the objections. You're like, you know what, fuck it. I don't need this deal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this conversation we're having
Because I'm very new to this model too. So if anybody's watching, we're all new to this, especially those who have joined the program recently. So, just take the action that he's talking about, and it's okay to go through a closing call and not close that deal. Look at that as a blessing in disguise, because that business owner, if they really wanted to move forward, then this closing call should be a laydown. It should be a laydown. You shouldn't have to be going through all these excuses and them telling you they're going to get back with you a week and a half later. Because if they have 1 week or 2 weeks that are slow on leads, they will make any excuse they can to drop the deal. So just look at it as a favor or a blessing in disguise for the future.
Absolutely.
I hope that made sense. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. Confidence and trust oozes out of you, and when you don't put emphasis and importance on the leads, that oozes out of you, and they can feel it, they can smell it, and they're like, well, he's not. I guess he's not spending $100 a pop if he's comfortable and he's throwing me a lead every day. Yeah, he's cool, he's comfortable, he's a nice guy. You'll just be the nice guy. But if you're like, hey man, how was that lead from yesterday? When are you going to quote them? Like you talk to them like you're the business owner, like you own those leads. It comes out of you, that oozes out of you, and they feel it, and they start mirroring that feeling and giving importance and emphasis to the leads. So it's up to you. You control the whole thing, absolutely. And whatever you think of your leads, they will think of them. So just remember that.
They're your babies. Yeah. That's
Yes.
your hard-earned money that you're handing over to these guys. It costed you money to acquire that lead. And the pullback method, like you're talking about, where you don't care about losing them as a prospect. You have so many fish in the sea. It doesn't matter if they walk away. And this actually worked with a guy just recently. I've been trying to get this concrete site uh you know handed over to a business owner for a really long time. I've gone through probably 4 different business owners already, and this guy, he was interested, and he just ignored my text. He ignored my text, and so I was like, "Hey, dude, sounds like you're really not serious about moving forward. I'm gonna go move on to the next guy. There's tons of concrete contractors in your area." And he hits me up 10 minutes later after ignoring me for, 24 hours. And he's like, "Hey, dude, give me a call whenever you have a chance." I'm like, "All right, yeah, well, let's talk. I can give you some more leads, but I need to know that you're serious because I don't want to be wasting my time."
Yeah, FOMO, fear of missing out. All business owners have it. The minute you throw it out there, they get the FOMO and they come back running. It's like, I need to know, I need to see what I'm missing out on, even if they're not interested. Now you've got their attention because they're like, oh, wait, he thinks that the leads are really important. Let me see what these leads are about. They're probably not Angie or Thumbtack. I think this guy means business. Yeah, and they just start putting you on a pedestal. Yeah, you get comfortable, they get comfortable. You set the tone.
Mhm. And
I love
these cities that we're targeting too, they're, 50,000 in population. A lot of these contractors do know each other.
Mm,
And so if one of them catches that prize where he's taking on these good quality leads and he's actually making a lot in revenue off of your deal,
yeah.
imagine how these guys that ghosted your call or that dismissed because they weren't qualified for your deal. Imagine how they're feeling once they see that their other buddy who they know is making bank working with you. That's what motivates me when somebody goes to me on a closing call. Like, dude, I know that you know more concrete contractors. And when I do close one, I hope that you see how much money he's making. And I hope
Hey,
you
you
think
can
about it
be
for the rest of
petty
your life.
about it. I
You
love
kind
it.
of have to sometimes,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I
you're
mean, we're
spending
dealing
your hard-earned
with
hours.
yeah, we're dealing with tradesmen and they're very raw. They're very, they can be a little unrefined. So yeah, you gotta cut to the chase sometimes and just give it to them straight. Let me
That's right. Yeah.
see if we got any reviews here. I mean, reviews, comments. Keisha Cross. Keisha, are you on the live? Someone just tagged you. Get on the live. Any questions, guys? Let us know if you have any questions. But yes, I like that. I like what you just mentioned, man. Having people know the business owners knowing the other business owners. Like, oh, what if Mark gets those leads? I don't want him to get those leads. They should come to me. I don't care if I pay this much or that much. Actually, what I do, even if I don't have a name, I'll just throw a name. I'll be like, hey, man,
Yeah.
it's sorry, I have to move on. If I don't hear from you today, I'm gonna have to move on. I have this guy, Greg, who said he's ready to roll, so I'm gonna start sending him those leads this afternoon. I appreciate you. Let me know if anything changes in the future. And then 5 minutes later, your phone is ringing, and like, hey, hold on, don't give the leads to imaginary Greg. I want to talk.
Yeah, I love that. The one guy who does not exist, but it
Right.
works.
I use that guy every time. Like even sometimes when I'm hooking, they're like, wait, you have a site with an ad? You don't have a business owner? I'm like, well, I did until last week, and now he's getting super busy with paint. He doesn't want to touch stucco, so I need a new partner. And you were on the list. I saw that you have good reviews and you're paying for ads, so I thought, hey, maybe you're interested in some free jobs. And they're like, oh, okay. And who was this guy? I'll be like, oh, some guy from out of town, owns a painting company. His name is Phil. But yeah, he's not in the picture anymore. He does not want to do these stucco jobs anymore. How far out are you guys booked right now? How many can you handle a week? I just dig into the conversation. And they start talking about their business. Oh yeah, we have the crews and we can do this and we can do that. Do you have scaffolding? Can you do like multi-story stucco? Or do you prefer to just stay on the ground floor? Like, oh no, we have everything. I can reach out to people. I can get some scaffolding. Great. What does your operation look like with crews? And you just dig into their business, and all of a sudden you're like, you're already inside their house. Like you're part of their thing now. and you can just tell them, hey man, no pressure, but I'll send you what I have right now, and that'll give us an idea whether this is a good fit or not. I don't want to jump the gun. I've been burnt by business owners before. I'm sure you can relate. You've been burnt before, I'm sure, but I want to do this the right way. So I want to test it out first. Not trying to charge you anything. We're just going to test it out. And then if it works, great. We'll sit down, talk turkey, run some numbers. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. I'll just move on to the next guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love going back to these deals that you have closed. You know, for those of you who haven't closed a deal yet, it's crazy when you have that business owner who is super eager to move forward and they want to grow their business, and you do all the right steps, which Nick is teaching us here in this program. They're not your client. They are your business partner. This business owner, he's calling you up, super excited about this huge job that he landed. And, you know, I've developed friendships with these guys. They, you know, I consider them friends now. And they're even talking about how down the road we want to meet in person, and they want to show me their projects that they've done and stuff like that. It's super encouraging to me. And you're just never satisfied, man. You want to just keep on growing, keep on growing. That's why you always have to have somebody on the hook. If you don't have somebody on the hook, then there's no progress. You have to have somebody on the hook constantly.
100%. That's well said. You always have to have something on the plate, or you'll get distracted. You'll go into some rabbit hole, or you go answer email, and that's what happens to me still like, you know, years and years later, I still have to make those calls, because that's what trickles into the hooks, into the live transfers, into the like, that's what sets momentum, the whole thing, from hook to close. Yeah, well said, man. You got to put in the reps. And even you said something earlier that was important too, is even those Zoom calls. Sometimes I would get on a Zoom call with someone, I know I'm not going to close them. I know they're just insisting on being on that Zoom. They don't have the money. They can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to consider this a rep. This call, it's just going to be practice for me. And sometimes I would even close it, even though I'm not feeling it. I know I'm going to close him, but 3 months down the line, he's going to burn out. He's not going to be able to do it. I can see that, but still I go through the process and I consider that Zoom call, closed or unclosed, a rep. That's a rep too. So it's not just the cold calling and the live transfers and the screencasts, and the Zoom call is also a rep. And the more sales calls you have under your belt, the better. Obviously, you get better and sharper. You can just scan over the script after a while. You can just look at it and you know exactly. It becomes like stand-up comedy. You just look at the bullet point and you know exactly what to say. And you just boom, 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 boom. Next point, boom, 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 boom. So and you maintain that eye contact. You maintain rapport, because of practice. You're sharp.
Yeah, for sure. And Nick gave some really good advice on one of his calls. I can't remember which one it was, but he always makes sure that, you know, if you're worried about losing money or not making a good profit margin off of paying for the ads at first, make sure that you're always making at least $400 to $500 in profit, so that the deal is worth your time. So even if my websites don't rank, heaven forbid, you know, because SEO is a strange game. Sometimes you have a competitor who is running with a high budget SEO company, and he's just completely dominating his area, and you don't know about it. That $400 to $500 that you're taking just off of the Google ads is going to make this deal worth it for you. Does that make sense?
Agreed. Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've had, you know how when you give Google a certain amount of money, it will give you decent leads, but the minute you go under a certain threshold, it's zero, because you're going under the CPC, obviously, and you're getting outbid by everyone. That's what I tell these people when they start to shop with me. Like, 2,000 a month. Can we just start at 1,500? I'm like, yeah, I will start at 1,500. You might get 0 leads. We might fall under the threshold. Yeah, I want to pay Google handsomely so it rewards us accordingly. I don't want to jip Google. Obviously, I'm not taking much. I'm making money with you in the long term. I'm only making 10, 15% out of this. I make money when you stay with me for a year, 2, 3 years. But we have to pay Google. That's who's giving us the leads. And if you give me 15 and I just give Google, like let's say 1,200 and I keep 300, it's probably not going to give us much. And that's what kind of puts them in the mindset, like I gotta spend just like the competition to stay up with the CPC and get decent leads.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So Google will take
I
your
love everything
money,
I've taken
but
from
not
you
send
too.
you anything because you're not competitive. Your bidding strategy is off. So it collects from you, but you're not getting leads. And that's how I explained it. I
That's
think we
awesome.
have some questions. Let's see. Let's see. Harsha Jyoti says, sorry if I butchered your name. How much CPC are you paying on ads? Can you give us some ideas on the range? Should we avoid niches that are very high in CPC? So this question about CPC, how much CPC are you paying for on ads, Jason?
I don't go over $5. So part of what Nick teaches us is we don't go over a certain threshold when it comes to Google Ads.
Yep.
You have to make sure that you aren't just breaking the bank for your ads. They have to be affordable leads.
Mhm.
So over $5, I don't go into that type of area.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Google Ads will allow you to reach more rural areas, not just that specific city.
Mhm.
But yeah, stay under $5 if possible.
Yep.
Or go up to $6.
That's a rule of thumb. I have gone over, but when the competition offers a lot of money, yeah, I'll say I
Yeah.
have a client now that pays me $750 a week. Yeah, we are over, $5 CPC, but he's paying,
For
so
sure.
no worries there. But yeah, as a start, you do not want to shoot yourself in the foot. You want to answer your question, you do want to stay under that threshold. You do want to watch the ads like a hawk. Every day, watch that ad, and yeah, watch your CPC for sure. Awesome. Jack says, so you tell the BOs you're using Google Ads for these leads? 100%, I do. Yes. When they ask and they say, actually, I've had people ask me, well, I already use Google Ads. I'm like, yeah, that's why I called you. How are you going to fit into this? I'm like, well, I'm going to be bringing you the exact caliber of customers. Same. The only difference here is you're going to be double dipping. Instead of fishing with one rod, now you're fishing with two. Your website, your ad, and my website, my ad. And they get it that way. But yeah, I absolutely tell them that I pay for Google Ads. And if they say we do Angie, I say, yep, it's the same as Angie, except these are exclusive. Do you know the difference? Angie will send them to you and 10 other contractors. Google will only send you one per one. So you just send you one customer at a time. And if you capture them right away, then yeah, you have a chance of selling them. If you wait 30 minutes, you have less chance, an hour, less chance, but they're all exclusive. That's the difference between Angie and Google Ads, but I go into detail into it. Like I explained to them that they are exclusive and they are expensive.
Yeah. And if they are running Google Ads, then ask them questions about what kind of jobs they're bringing in, what is their click-through rate, and how many leads are they actually converting through their ads, because you're coming across as the Google Ads expert. You are the expert. You're not telling them that, oh, I'm brand new to this. It's like, I'm a Google Ads expert.
Yep.
So you can pay me to run your ads and get you more work probably than what you're doing on your own, because you don't understand, especially in Nick's program where he teaches you step by step on how to build a really solid search campaign. So you're the Google Ads expert.
Absolutely. That's how we set ourselves apart. Yeah, eventually we do want to bring down that that ad spend and go organic, but primarily we have to be good at Google Ads and due diligence for us to make some money initially. Otherwise, you're going to be in the red if you don't know what you're doing with the ads. You'll be paying more than you're getting paid. Okay. So, question about the CPC. I think that's it. Any other questions, guys, for Jason or myself? Drop them in the comments. Anything you want to add, Jason, before we wrap this up? Any questions
I just
or
appreciate
comments?
your time, man.
Oh,
I learned a
yeah.
lot. I learned a lot just talking with you, and I'm really new to this too. I'm just putting in action, and we don't have to be experts at this. As long as you're putting in the reps, you will close deals. I've done so many things wrong. In fact, almost everything wrong. And I've still been able to earn that trust because we're coming across with integrity. And integrity, it does so much more than trying to convince somebody that you're the real deal without actually providing value for these guys. They want to see results. You don't need a
Absolutely.
degree. You don't need anything to make this happen. You have to provide results, and that's how you earn business.
100%. 100%. Yeah, you should be focused on, can you help them? Not, look, I need to make my money. I need to make my money as fast as possible, and then on to the next one, on to the next one. I made that mistake, where I would just like jump between leads, like grab the credit card and run, that kind of thing. You definitely want to nurture those relationships and go for long-term relationships. If you can't help someone, don't do it. It's just going to waste your time, and it's going to backfire, and you're not going to look good, and you're going to have to backpedal a lot of things.
Yeah.
Cut your
Sure.
losses. If you can't help anyone, if you can't help someone, cut your losses from the beginning and focus on the stuff that you did due diligence in. You did your homework. You picked the right business owner, and if you follow all those steps and break just one of them, the deal might still fall through. Like you did everything right, but the screencast was lacking, or they didn't watch the video. You didn't make sure that they watched the screencast. That cost me a lot of deals. So the stars have to align, meaning every piece of the puzzle has to be sitting exactly the way it needs to be sitting. So the hook needs to be good. The live transfers should be good. It should be, in terms of volume and quality, they should be. You can't just send them 2 crappy leads and be like, all right, let's go on the Zoom call. The screencast needs to be on point. It needs to be compact. You can't riff too much. I've done that before. The Zoom call itself needs to be tight. I have had business owner derail my Zoom call before. It's like, what? Yeah, let me answer that question. No, I'm not answering that question. It's irrelevant. I'll get back to it later. Let's go back to the script. Like, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, yes, I'll be happy to answer that, but out of respect for your time, I just want to go through this real quick, if you don't mind. So the stars have to align, and you have to align them. That's where most of my disappointment came before, where I'm like, I did everything right. What the hell happened? Well, the screencast, or well, you let him derail your Zoom call. That's what happened. Or you let the call go, or he said, can we just do phone call? And you say, yeah, phone call is fine. Let's just do phone call. No, I do this my way. And if you don't want to do it, that's cool. Go to Angie's List, man. So yeah, the
It's a lot harder
stars
to tell
have to
somebody
align.
no face to face.
What's that?
It's a lot harder to tell somebody no face to face. So if they're on the phone
Right.
call,
That's
they have the
true.
capability of just pressing end. They can just hang up on you if they wanted to. It's
Absolutely.
a lot harder to leave face to face.
Yeah.
It's like, I've already gotten to know this guy. I know what he looks like, and we've kind of developed a little bit of a connection through this Zoom call. Telling him no is actually going to be a lot more difficult than over the phone when, you're just speaking with your voice, you're interrupting each other, stuff like that.
100%. There's a lot of nonverbal psychological communication that goes on in a Zoom call just from being face to face. What the eye sees, the mind believes. Like when I talk into a business owner, his brain thinks that we're sitting at the same table and we're talking. So the level of trust just goes as opposed to just phone. Like, this is the only thing between us. I can just hit the red button and we're done here. I don't have to ever talk to you again. But once we get this face to face here, we establish this rapport, your brain knows that now we are on, you know, another level of acquaintance.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. Let's see if there's any questions. Ooh, we got another one here, I think. What Jack wants to know, Jack Peterson, what tools are you using to get a better estimate of the CPC? I've seen a tool saying one thing, but the keyword planner says different. I just rely on keyword planner. I know it's not the most accurate thing, but if you can just ballpark it with keyword planner, that's all the analytics you need. You don't want to go into a rabbit hole. Like I gotta get this tool or this paid tool or whatever to get me a CPC. Don't dwell on it too much. Take Google's word for it and run. Jason, you want to add something to answer this question?
Yeah, from my experience, Google's always been the most accurate. Ahrefs, Semrush, stuff like that. They're not near as accurate as Google. Google is the company that's actually running the Google ads. So use their own tools and you should be pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, they're skewed a little bit, but you know, as long as you keep it pretty close, yeah. Let's see. Harsha Jyoti. Did I say your name right? Harsha Jyoti? You have another question. If I find the niche with high CPC, say above $50, does it make sense to rank a website first and then contacting a business owner? I own an SEO agency, so it's easier and cost effective for me. What do you say? Man, that's still highly competitive. I would personally, I would not fight that fight. I would go find a better city, a more obscure city than the one that has the $50 CPC, because that will add up quick. Now SEO, absolutely. You want to build something and sit on it and have your team take care of it and nurture it. I've done that before. Yeah, absolutely. And then maybe next year you'll start ranking. But personally, I would not jump into this. $50 CPC, no thanks. I can just jump a city over and have, you know, $7 CPC.
Exactly.
I don't know
Take
what the
some
niche is
consideration.
either. The niche might be too, I don't know, too high ticket, or I don't know. But I would not go into this one. I hope that answers your question. Like Nick always says, what does he say? He says, find a prominent niche in an obscure city, or a prominent city, obscure niche, if that makes sense. So I like stucco. I need to go to obscure cities. I can't just go to, you know, metropolitan areas and be like, yeah, I'm the stucco guy. I'll not make any money. But yeah, I need to go into obscure. So I have, for example, Shreveport, Louisiana stucco. Shreveport, Louisiana. It's a big city, but it's not, you know, a metro, you know, like a hub or anything. It's just a regular city. And yeah, I'm making money in Shreveport, Louisiana. If I did, you know, stucco, New York, good luck.
Or even take tree service in Shreveport, and that might not be a good niche for that specific city because the cost per click is going to be different for every single niche.
Absolutely.
So it might work for stucco, but it might not work for tree service.
100%. Yeah, it's a case by case. That's why the due diligence sheets are crucial. It can't just let's say Shreveport is next to Bossier. You can't just say, oh, whatever applies to Shreveport applies to Bossier because they're right next to each other. No, it doesn't. So each city is its own due diligence sheet. I think we did we just do an hour on this live? Holy smokes.
Yeah, we've been talking for a minute. Wow.
Sweet. Let's see if there's any other questions, and if there's not, I can just wrap this up. Sweet. What tools? Thanks, guys, for answering the questions. Yes, sir, Jack. Thanks for joining. Makes sense. Hold on, there's another one. Harsha Jyoti, you did not tell me if I pronounced your name right. Did I get it right? Okay, Jason Spencer. I have a local offer where the decision makers may be out of state. Should I still use local keywords and just expand my Google ads nationwide? I think you would, but just making sure. I have a local, hold on, I have a local offer where the decision makers may be out of state. Should I still use local keywords? You want to use the keywords that are relevant to their market. So yeah, he might be out of state. Like maybe he's in Spokane, Washington. That's his market. Your due diligence should be on Spokane, Washington. I don't know if I'm answering that question right, but yeah, it's the market. You're always doing the due diligence on the market they're trying. Like I'm a carpenter in Dayton, Ohio. You're going to do due diligence for carpentry in Dayton, Ohio, not Cincinnati, not Columbus, Dayton. Yep, you got it right. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, I'm pretty good with names because I have a tricky name too. Sweet. Call me Das. I will call you Das. Thank you, Das. Appreciate you. Any other questions, guys? All right. Oh, this was good. We got some nice comments here. If there's anything else, guys, that comes up, just drop it in the comments there or post about it, and I'll make a live, or Jason can jump on and answer some questions. Jason, I appreciate you, man. This was a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to deal number 4. Please keep us posted on that. The hooks, the transfers, like what you're doing. I like what you're doing, and I think you should share your process because you're doing it right. And you're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together beautifully. So if you don't mind sharing like your process, your anecdotal process, like, hey, today I got a new hook, or hey, it's looking good. Don't jinx yourself though. Don't be like, hey, this deal's in the pocket. But yeah, if you can share some your progress, that would be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. You know, doesn't make you feel comfortable expressing your wins, you know, but I remember the wins that were being posted when I didn't have any deals. And I was like, this guy kind of comes from a little bit of the same background as me, you know. It's very possible, like he's making it sound like it's a piece of cake. And yeah, so just put in the action and you will have deals. And the first deal is the hardest one to get, in my opinion. Once you get that first deal, you kind of understand how things are working, what kind of stuff you can dismiss, and everything like that, and just go from there.
100%. Don't get comfortable after the first deal. Keep going. Sweet.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you, Jason. Thank you, guys. Thank you for jumping on. I'll see if there's any other comments, and we'll try to answer them. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, man.